Hot Apostle. Help us build the kingdom. Like, share, and subscribe. So what book of the Bible was the first reading from? Leviticus, okay? In Leviticus, the Levites were the priests of the Old Testament, okay? And so all this details about the ministries of the priests is in Leviticus. And the old joke goes, if you try to read the Bible, you start at Genesis, Exodus, you get to Leviticus, and you're like, I can't take it anymore, because it's all so detailed and a bit foreign to us as well. So it was a challenging reading, but it is, a reading only somebody very interested in the liturgy could love, okay? And I have to say, it's grown on me over the years, okay? So how the liturgy of ancient Israel unfolded, and how the liturgy of the church is related to the liturgy of the Old Testament. And there is a little connection there. You heard the 7 weeks, and then the day after, the 50th day. What do we call that 50th day? Pentecost. So there are a few places of connectedness, and I'll just leave it at that. But it really is very confusing, because they use different names for the same things and they describe them in different ways. So don't feel bad if you had trouble following the first reading. All right, I'll just say that. And then we come to the gospel, and what is faith? What is faith? He could not work any mighty deeds there because of their lack of faith. And I would say to you that faith is a gift of God. And you say, well, then it's God's fault, because God must not have given them a gift. And then I would say to you, faith is a human act. And you'll say to me, well, Father Mike, is it a gift of God or is it a human act? And I'll say it's both. Are you free? Do you have free will? Will God's providence be done? Will God's will be done? I will say to you, it's both. And you will say to me, how can that be? And I will say to you, it is. It is. Faith is a gift from God. And if you have faith, you have no right to boast. And faith is a human act. And if you don't have faith, you cannot please God. Without faith, it is impossible to please God. To receive the gift of faith, the faith is given, freely given. We have the story of the sower of the seed. Remember that story? A sower is someone who plants. A sower went out to sow, and he sowed the seed. And where did he sow it? He sowed it everywhere. He sowed it among the rocks, he sowed it among the thorns, he sowed it on the path, he sowed it in the tilled ground, he sowed it everywhere. And the seed is the word of God. It's that which brings the faith. He sows it richly and lavishly, almost wastefully. And so it is sown, and it is sown in Nazareth. And it didn't seem to find a root, did it? They had contempt for Jesus. They were too familiar with him. I believe, Lord, heal my unbelief, right? The gift of faith today. There were no mighty deeds done there. Why? Why? Their lack of faith. So, my brothers and sisters, let's not get too familiar with Jesus. In awe and wonder and trepidation and humility, we come before him. And we integrate the challenges of this life with the gift of faith. And faith is given, but it is also a human act. Lord, I believe. Heal my unbelief.